The Hanford nuclear site, not only is there a no-fly zone in place right now in the area, but there was also some recent footage from somebody that's on ground out there that was sent into the Dabu 7 channel, or the Dabu 77 channel, and you can see two military Chinooks hovering on each side of the facility. So, why are there military helicopters hanging out there? Why is there a no-fly zone? Why is there a peculiar 20-foot implosion, essentially? A tunnel that's 20 feet by 20 feet collapses next to the extracting facility, World War II era, of plutonium and uranium. That sounds like a soft target to me. That sounds like something easily a Black Ops, highly trained, small group of individuals could do. One person could do something like that. I definitely see foul play here. Now, that's why I think that there's military choppers out there hovering around. That's why I think there's a no-fly zone. That's why I think that there's people in the comments section on the video that I did yesterday saying, is this World War III? Well, maybe it's not World War III, but maybe it's some proxy wars going on. Or not proxy wars, but it's the 21st century. You know, you go back and you look at what wars were like in the Civil War time. Look at what wars were like back in when the Persian militaries were extremely huge and vast, and Conan the Barbarian times. Look at the Genghis Khan era. Look at even World War II or World War I or Vietnam. Things change. Times change. I don't think that the nukes launched from jets, nukes launched from, I don't think ICBMs yet are going into effect. I think that it's a lot easier to send out a few highly trained special forces and have them go do something like hit a soft target, such as this facility. And whether or not there's radiation that's leaking, I don't know. I certainly think they're not telling us the whole story. Very rarely do we get the whole story. It takes people like Dabu 77, people that are out there getting independent reporting and on ground, putting their boots on the ground, going out and getting the story. I wish I could be there right now. I can't. I have a radiation detector. I could go out there and tell you what the radiation levels are. I can tell you out here in San Antonio, my watch is picking up 0.011 right now, or not 0.011, 0.11 microsieverts per hour. I just turned on the Digi. I'm going to give this a minute to calculate and calibrate. So let's say that this is an act of war. Then you have to find out who did it. Where do they come from? Are they a rebel faction within our own government? Are they from China? Are they from Russia? Are they from North Korea? Are they from Canada? I'm joking. I don't think they're Canadian. I don't think they're North Korean. Now, Chinese? I don't know. Could this be payback for the Rod of God incident, or what a lot of people feel was from a Rod of God type weapon that happened at the chemical plant facility in China in 2015 after they devalued their currency 3 times in a row? And then that is in the general vicinity of their supercomputer that, as of currently, is one of the fastest supercomputers on the planet, running 93 approximately quadrillion floating points per second. Of course, IBM's coming out with one this year that's running 300. So it's like keeping up with the Joneses. Look at my yard, man. Look at how green it looks. You'd be surprised what kind of... And then his dog dies because, his dog was standing on the grass from all the chemicals. But the grass is green, man. So are we going to start seeing more of this kind of stuff? Are the new soft targets going to be nuclear facilities that maybe are a little bit lax on security? Or maybe not even nuclear facilities. Maybe nuclear dumping facilities, like the WIP facilities, storage facilities, where you find out they're storing it in cat litter, storing plutonium, and I don't know if it's plutonium, but storing radioactive waste in cat litter. They had that incident out there. You would think that storing these types of chemicals and these types of elements, which are so deadly for so many millions of years oftentimes, you would think that they would have a better security measures in place. Unless, like I talked about earlier, there's another agenda that we don't know about. Or, like Johnny says, it's just a conspiracy, dude. Radiation's good for you, man. You should watch this guy eat it. Well, there's this one gentleman, I can't remember his name now, that used to eat uranium a lot, and he died of throat cancer. So a lot of times they don't talk about that. I mean, this is just... Okay. Yep, 0.12 microsieverts per hour. My watch is picking up 0.11, so it's been fluctuating. That's relatively low. Now, if there's somebody... I really want to see some video footage of what the radiation levels are in Hanford, Washington. If I could get it, I would. If I could, I don't like to fly, and I don't want to drive that far. I will be driving to South Dakota, guys, so I hope to see you there just in a few days, May 19th to the 21st at the X-Fest event. I sure am glad that I've got an opportunity to meet some amazing people and also check out the bunker that I just got like a few weeks ago. It's a 2,000 square foot bunker that I'm going to turn into a studio for the shows. So even when things hit the fan, if the SHTF scenarios happen, guess what? I'll figure out a way to have a radio tower out there, and I'll spread the information out to you guys. I'll find a way. So, You know, I did a podcast earlier about the radiation testing that was done on the Aborigines and the UK servicemen when they were doing testing on nuclear stuff. Literally, they were being exposed to radiation on purpose. Well, somebody left a comment saying that they used to put radiation in oatmeal here in the States just to see what would happen. I mean, that's disgusting. That is so far and above wrong that I'm at a loss for words for those kind of people that found a way to justify doing that. How can you justify that if you have any conscience whatsoever? I mean, I have these stupid gnats that fly around here sometimes that pop out of nowhere when I'm doing a show, and I warned them before I swat them away, you know, but sometimes they just piss me off that boom, you're gone. But you get my point. I mean, I think about stuff like that before I do it. You know, if I see a bug on the floor in my house, I'll let it out before I kill it. Now, if it's a cockroach or if it's a brown recluse, that might be a different story. But dang it, are we cockroaches? Does that mean it's okay for a giant to step on us? You ever wonder that too? See, I think about that kind of stuff. It's bizarre what I think sometimes, but that's one of the less strange things that I think about. Like the other day, you know, I'm at Chipotle. I'm taking pictures of the chemtrails. And then this guy walks behind me. And as I get done taking a picture, I turn around and I bump into him. I'm like, boom! And I'm like, whoa! And the guy looks like a total bum, literally. I mean, it doesn't look like he's got teeth. He's totally wearing clothes, makes him look like a bum. He's even got a band on his wrist that looks like he just got out of the hospital, okay? So, first thing that comes through my head is this an agent dressed up as a bum with no teeth that's just gonna track me with a nano chip or something, or put something in my pocket? And of course, you know, my head prevailed, and I'm like, no, or is it? But you know, it's strange the kind of things you start to think when you do research into the dark side of the cabal, and you really find out different applications that these organizations have that can spy on you. You know, like literally they could throw a rock in your yard, and that rock could have a microchip in it as well as a microphone that could pick up very well everything around the yard and even sometimes inside of your house via a rock that you'd never even know. I think Jesse Ventura even did a show on that several years ago where he talked about that technology. And that's like World War II era stuff, guys. I mean, imagine what they're doing now. They're probably spying on us through laser tech or Wi-Fi tech. Matter of fact, that's probably a way for them to also spy on us, is this Wi-Fi technology, because the Wi-Fi bounces off of solid objects. So it could pick up the surroundings with the Wi-Fi based on the frequencies. So if there's a room with 3 glasses of water in it, the Wi-Fi is bouncing off of those glasses of water, and then that information gets sent back to a computer that would digitally overlay it and create what visualization is of that Wi-Fi. So anybody that's got Wi-Fi in their house, that's probably another way for them to graph out what you're doing, where you're going, what's in your house, at what time. You know, whatever, you know. Check me out, man. I'm doing a radio show. Bing bong. So these are just things that you would assume, I mean, with the technologies that they have and the funding that's endless into some of these spying technologies. Of course, not funding to help people, but funding to suppress people for our own benefit, of course, because they love us so much, like we talk about. Energy weapons even. So, I was talking yesterday that maybe I was feeling it was some type of energy weapon that caused that 20-foot by 20-foot tunnel to implode right next to the extracting facility where they extracted plutonium and uranium for so many years. I mean, right there. I mean, of course, it's got to be right there. And you'd think to yourself, well, wouldn't they have something a little bit more stable out there to protect that area? No, we just want it to collapse. We're just waiting for it. You would think that the nuclear industry that has so much money tied up in this would spend more money on their PR campaign to keep this stuff cleaned up. I don't understand why they don't. They spend more money paying back lawsuits than they do keeping these things up. I mean, wouldn't it make more sense to pay more to keep them up and pay less in lawsuits? And the lawsuits are tiny even. That's another bizarre factor. It's like, how does that make logical sense? It doesn't, unless there's something more sinister controlling this. Unless there's something literally feeding off of this almost at an ethereal level, at an astral level almost. Or people are just very ignorant and very bright at the same time that do these kind of things. It's like, oh yeah, we're smart enough to make 50 gigawatts out of something the size of a golf ball, but we're going to use it to steam water for energy, and we're going to have to keep it cool, because if we don't keep it cool, it'll blow up and it'll wipe out half the planet. But it's cool, right, dude? Yeah, I want some. Where do we store all that waste? Oh, how about over there? I'll just put some plywood over it. It'll be fine, bro. Don't worry about it. Hey, man, let's go hang out on that yacht you just bought with that money. Yeah. Woo! Let's do it. Bizarre, ladies and gentlemen. We live in the Twilight Zone. Question everything. And another thing that's going through my mind right now. So let's say these soft targets, this starts to happen more. Let's say this is the year of nuclear disasters. Maybe not even nuclear reactors, but locations like the WIP facility, or locations now in Northwest Texas that store radioactive fuel, radioactive waste, spent fuel rods. Oh, the good stuff. That's good for you. Instead of holding it in a tank that might leak, how about decommission it? How about dump a bunch of zeolite in there, and that fungus that I was showing you guys earlier that actually turns, it essentially transmutes radioactive isotopes into energy. So the spent fuel, we could turn that into energy. Well, no, we don't want to do that. Let's just blow shit up with it. Let's just make people sick. That's what we really want to do. So let's say these soft targets start getting nailed. Let's say we start seeing stuff like this in other locations. Then what's after that? What about the firefires? The year of the firefires a couple years ago. There was speculation that it was Russian special forces involved in that. What's your take? But why would they do that? What would their point be? Why would another country, and why are they trying to stir the pot here? I mean, are they just trying to poke the bully? Are they just trying to poke the biggest bully on the block and wind him up and make him spin, make him go round and round, make him go trample a bunch of nations? Or would it make more sense if there were specific factions that knew what would happen if they used those agendas and used those labels and who to blame? Kind of like in the TV series Designated Survivor, where the entire government essentially that runs the White House in one terrorist act is taken out, and there's a couple people that are designated survivors left over. Kiefer Sutherland comes in, takes over the position of the chief in command, the president of the United States, and I think he does a fairly good job. He wants balance. He wants human rights. He sees that Bill of Rights essentially as being very powerful. The Bill of Rights is a powerful bill. It's there for a reason. This assembly of the states, where they want to rewrite the Constitution, they're painting this picture as being the savior to America to get rid of government. Yeah, it might get rid of government. It also might add 10 times the amount of government. And it might completely suppress your Bill of Rights now. If the, what is it called? I'm having a harp-on moment here. Alaska's nailing me. Nanu, nanu, nanu. Convention of States. Convention of States. So Soros would love to see that go down. They're trying to make it look like Soros is trying to say, no, Soros doesn't want that to happen. Oh, I can tell you this. If Soros had an opportunity to be involved in rewriting the Constitution with the kind of money he has, you don't think he's going to go that route? Or somebody like him? Or how about the people that he represents? Soros is one of many. He's the mouthpiece to the agenda, ladies and gentlemen. It's the New World Order 2.0. They love you so much, they'll do anything they can to suppress you and make you pay for it at the same time. They're making you pay for it. Physically, mentally, spiritually. YouTube.com/clandestine time lord. Leakproject.com if you want access to exclusive content. I've got an interview coming up literally in just a couple of minutes that I need to get to, and that will be available on our Leak Project channel. Question everything, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here with me. Be the change you want to see. 0.12 microsieverts per hour. Small group of individuals could do. One person could do something like that. I definitely see foul play here. Now, that's why I think that there's military choppers out there hovering around. That's why I think there's a no-fly zone. That's why I think that there's people in the comments section on the video that I did yesterday saying, is this World War III? Well, maybe it's not World War III, but maybe it's some proxy wars going on. Or not proxy wars, but it's the 21st century. You know, you go back and you look at what wars were like in the Civil War time. Look at what wars were like back in when the Persian militaries were extremely huge and vast. And next to the extracting facility, World War II era, plutonium and uranium. That sounds like a soft target to me. That sounds like something easily a Black Ops, highly trained side of the facility. So why are there military helicopters hanging out there? Why is there a no-fly zone? Why is there a peculiar 20-foot implosion, essentially? A tunnel that's 20 feet by 20 feet collapses. The Hanford nuclear site, not only is there a no-fly zone in place right now in the area, but there was also some recent footage from somebody that's on ground out there that was sent into the Dabu 7 channel, or the Dabu 77 channel, and you can see two military Chinooks hovering on each